kind of. Okay, is this thing working? Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay, great. So on account of the recent global economic meltdown, we had to make some cuts to tech tips. Now, I wasn't going to get rid of this TV. The TV's awesome. I wasn't going to get rid of me. I'm awesome. So we had to get rid of something. I got rid of the Tech Tips shirt, okay? And what you may have noticed about the awesome TV is that our background art is not quite up to the normal standard. Now, the cameraman, this is going to come as a bit of a shock. We had to let him go. We're all really sad, but moving on. We have a power supply today here from Antec. This is just for reference to show you how big this thing is. Now look at this huge box. You know what they say about power supplies that come in large boxes, right? Well, they're very large. This is a CPX power supply. It only fits in a few select Antec cases, and we'll tell you more about it. Stay tuned. So as I mentioned before, this is a very, very large power supply, CP-850. Okay, we're going to put away our reference one for now, and we'll talk about why Antec saw fit to introduce their own power supply standard. Now, the first thing you're going to notice about it, of course, is the size. The second thing you're going to notice is it has a 120 millimeter cooling fan on the side of the unit. Now, a lot of power supplies put a 120 mil cooling fan on the bottom of the unit, but what that means is you're going to have a lot less room for internals. Now, if I could get the cameraman, well, we have no cameraman, but I have some hobo that I gave $5 to come in here and operate the camera. So if you could just zoom in there, hobo, and have a look at the dual PCB design inside this power supply. So there's one PCB at the bottom, one PCB at the top, and then there's all this ventilation room in the middle. I'm going to move so you can see right through it. That's what that 120 mil fan is able to suck the air through. So it keeps the efficiency of the unit very high while keeping the costs relatively low. It means less heatsink material because you've got all that extra space and that better cooling ability. So it's a slightly modular power supply. Now it's only got 4 modular plugs, and quite a few of them are already attached, but let's face it, if you're buying an 850 watt power supply, you're probably already using a lot of power supply cables. So the modular cables give you a couple more SATA or Molex and 2 more PCIe connectors for a total of 4. So I just wanted to briefly show all the cables that come with the CP-850. We've got a 24-pin cable, 2 PCI Express 6+2 pin cables. So those are good for either 6-pin or 8-pin graphics cards. Then you've got an 8-pin CPU power connector, a 4-pin CPU power connector, depending which type your board takes. Some boards actually take both. Then you've got 3 large Molex and 1 small floppy Molex connector. These are all attached to the power supply, by the way. Then you have 3 SATA connectors. Now, you can put an additional 4 modular cables in. So the 2 red slots with 8 pins on them are for another 2 6-pin PCIe connectors. So we could put those on for up to 2 high-powered graphics cards in SLI or Crossfire. And then we have an additional 2 Molex strings of cables or 2 SATA strings of cables. So up to another 6 SATA or 6 Molex connectors on the power supply unit, but you can only plug in 2 of these. So you could do like another 3 SATA and another 3 Molex or another 6 SATA for 9 SATA if you had lots of hard drives. Now this is the P183. It is one of the 3 cases that this power supply works in at the time of publishing. It's the 1200, the P183 as you see here, and the P193. So down here is the power supply chamber in this chambered design. So we are gonna, I've never tried this yet, so we're gonna try putting this thing in here. Holy cow, is that ever a tight fit? But it goes right in there, just like that. Now, if you see at the back of the case is not actually only compatible with CPX power supplies. Right now, it doesn't actually work because it's got the cutout for the regular ATX power supply. All we have to do is take out these 4 screws, and then it will fit perfectly in the bottom of the P183. So we've got the CP-850 installed in the back of the case now. You can see it takes up a lot more room than you're used to. It's like a whole hand here, you know? Okay, so then let's show the front of the case first, or by the front I mean the side that you put your guts inside. So you can see here we've got our 24-pin connector coming right through here to where it would normally install on most motherboards, and then we have an 8-pin CPU power connector coming up through the top. Very convenient the way they've got these holes positioned. Your power cords for the 120mm fans on the top and the back. These are controlled by little switches at the very back of the case, so you can set them to low, medium, or high. They are tri-cools. Then down in the more to the bottom, you've got your PCI Express connectors. Now these looked really short when we had it laid out on the table, but you can see that you can easily reach with all of them any graphics card that's in a normal sort of installation spot, either on the top of the card or the back of the card. And I mean, they can even reach like way up to the top of the case, so it's not really a huge concern. Now, in terms of cable management features, they did away with the 120mm fan down here in the bottom chamber. So what that means is that you can put any excess cables down here. And then you've got a 120mm fan right on your power supply, a spot for a 120mm fan out in the front of the case right here, just off camera, Hobo, right there. And then you can see around the back the way that it's laid out for super easy cable management. It comes with these little reusable cable ties, so you can route things as you desire, and here's all your front panel connector stuff. So that is the CP-850 power supply and the Antec P183. Thank you for watching NCIX Tech Tips. Before we go, don't turn off the camera. I should probably show the front of the case. So you got eSATA, a couple USB, front audio, you have a lock for your front panel here, some cool little chromed accents, and then you've got dust filters over all of your air intake surfaces. Huge improvement over previous P18X series cases. So thank you for watching NCIX Tech Tips. That is the P183 and the CP-850. You know, I think this actually went pretty well, considering that we had to do it without the cameraman and we just pulled someone in off the street to, yeah, you know what? You're not getting paid. Forget it. They don't have any money. Get out of here.